Hey team, welcome back this week. I'm beyond pumped about our topic today, all things money, money mindset, feelings and emotions around what that means to you. So I hand it over to you, Rob. When you hear the word money, what happens for you? What comes up?
Well, before I answer that question, I want to say thanks for raising such an important topic because it's not something that's spoken about enough. People talk about how to make money, like join this course, do this thing. There's a million ways to skin a cat, right? And there's a million ways to make money, but it's an unusual topic to say, what's your mindset behind money? And people have all sorts of feelings around it. And for me personally, I only have one word that I can sum it up in. Easy. Yeah. Because if you think something's easy, it will be. If you think something is difficult, stressful, hard, and it's causing all sorts of problems in your life, then all of those things will arrive in your life. And there's one thing that I know that I've reached this point, maybe the halfway point of my life, like the middle of my life. I'm 46 now. So if I lived till I was 92, then that would be halfway. I've got good genetics in my family, so hopefully that happens. One thing I know is that when I've had no money in my life for a variety of different reasons, everything's okay. Like the universe provides for you, or God provides for you, or whatever you believe in provides for you, and you will be okay. You won't go hungry in this society, and you won't starve on the streets as a homeless person if you've got a brain in your head and you've got a little bit of commitment and dedication to yourself. But I can sum up my feelings around it by saying just one word. It's easy. If you think it's easy, it will be. If you think you can't, you won't. If you think you can, you will. It's as simple as that. Money for me, easy.
Fun.
A lot.
That's my one. It's fun.
Fun.
Why not? I think people on this call, we're all a little bit different from the norm though. Like it is a real thing when you work a 9-to-5 job and you've got the bills and you've got the set income and you've maybe got kids and stuff like that. But I'll let Alexis take the reins here with this one. But this is such a great topic. Thank you.
You're welcome. And it is such a fun topic. And what really sparked this conversation was I spoke to a client yesterday and I was speaking to her and I said, when you hear the word money, what comes up for you? And it was not enough: argument, stress, sadness, anger, shame, doubt, clenching, eek. And she's like, oh, I didn't even know all of that was in there. And everything was so limited and so small and felt so restricted that she's been working so many hours and not getting return on investment because there's self-worth stuff going on. And there's so much noise that is around receiving money. And the one thing I love about money is the more money that I have, the more I get to, well, the energetics behind it, the more I am me. The more confidence I have, the more I get to help people, because the more money I have, the more people I get to help. And so, like Laura said, it's fun. And when you start playing in the realm of being fun, you become magnetic to people. People are drawn to you. But if you're in that heavy eek energy, people are like, I don't want to be, like, no one wants to really hang around that person. And I know for me, years ago, I didn't even want to hang around myself. I was so eek around the whole money situation. And so if you don't want to hang around yourself, or if I didn't want to hang around me, why would anybody else want to hang around me?
Why do you think that is, Lexi? Why do you think people have such negative connotations around it? Because your emotions around something can be switched in a second. I can be angry and cranky about someone cutting me off in the traffic, or I could, but the second that they put their hand up and go, oh, sorry, like that, I'm not angry or cranky anymore. So that's like validation and proof in the real world that I can go from being like fired up, wanting to run this guy over because I'm so angry with road rage because he nearly killed me. And then he goes, oh, sorry, to me going, oh, it's all right, I make mistakes all the time. But that doesn't happen with other things in your life for some reason. It doesn't happen particularly with money. And it's a contentious topic to talk about because somebody watching this or listening to this might go, oh, it's all right for you. You've got your own business. You can get as many clients as you need. You can do this. I can't do that. My circumstance. And then all of this like negativity just building and building and building and building. And the solution is stop complaining and make more money. And
That's
then, somebody just wants to punch me when I say that, right? It's true.
It's the
Yeah,
matrix.
Yeah, it's the matrix. It's exactly what it is. That word job stands for just over broke. They keep you just over broke, just there, just holding on. But it takes all of your energy and everything that you are as a human being to pull yourself out of that and to actually face away from those demons, to actually live your truth and live the life that you want to live. It's a very hard thing to do.
Yeah, and what Laura said before is that we are an unusual bunch, that we, we do have different, like we do see the world in a different light. But I remember way back when I first started this journey and I was watching people on the stage going, I was here once. I'm like, yeah, whatever. How am I going to get to that point? Like, how am I going to get there? Like, I'm so here on this side, like no money. I'm a single mom. I don't really know how to run a business. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. Fast forward, here I am running a successful business. I've got lots of things going on in the background, and we get to open up these conversations and help more people by talking about these topics and starting to be more neutral around the word money. And you can get so caught up in like what I call a tornado, like the story. It's just like, and it keeps building and building and building, and it gets faster and faster, and it just starts to be ingrained inside the body. What's coming up for you, Laura, as you're nodding your head?
Oh, so many things. I'm just like, I'm trying not to talk over everyone because I'm so excited, as I always am.
Go, Laura, go.
So I'm like, it's your turn.
That's so funny. You can just see me. Anyways, for those of you who don't know me, I'm very excitable, especially when it's something I'm passionate about. But no, it's like, as I said with Rob, I was like, it's the matrix. Words are powerful, and words keep you locked into the matrix. When you take back your power and you start realizing, and now I'm getting crazy for some listeners listening right now, but when you realize we actually do create our own reality. If you don't know what that is, go watch Bob Proctor on YouTube, or all the greats. I know Alexis can name off some people, and Rob too. There's so many people out there proving with scientific proof and habits that you actually do create your own reality. And so when, like Rob just said, the excuses come out from the people who may be struggling, and but you this, but you that, but you this. Well, that's the matrix. It's because you believe, you've been told so many times that by, I don't know, parents and teachers and all those people in your life from a kid, that you must go to university, you must go get a job. This is security. And I don't think this conversation is really about the job. However, it does have a lot to do with the struggles, because when I went and got a job, it's a very limiting thing. It's like someone telling you your worth is only X amount, and you're not worth any more than that. But I know I am. Rob and Alexis is. I know that if I can create something in my mind, I have a thought, I have excitement, and I dive in, I can put my energy into creating something in this world. If you see it in your mind, you can see it in your hand. And I know that it's unlimited what I can actually create in this world. It's unlimited. The minute that you listen to that person telling you must go get a job and this is your worth, that's when you're giving your power away, and that's when the struggles come in. So money for me is actually energy. It's energy. And if you shut it off by being all negative, because that's what you're doing, being negative is shutting off your energy source, that's when the struggles come in. And it's all about, we live in a world, and it's all about control, let's face it, right? So the minute that you can understand that money is energy and you can have your dreams come true, it's just the limiting beliefs that we have to unlock, and we have to be around positive people and all the good juju for your brain and all that good stuff. And go research the successful people who've gone ahead of you. They hold the truth to the knowledge that we need to unlock all the keys in our life.
Boom. There it is.
Yeah, and it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true that our thoughts, and if you really take stock of where you are right now and really take a full audit on every area of your life, your health, your fitness, your love life, your relationships, your conversations, your money, like what are the daily things that you do every single day that are keeping you where you are? Because to get something different, you have to start being somebody different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not showing up and acting as if you already have it. It's about embodying and really being and truly knowing that the next stage, like going to that next level version of yourself and doing the scary things like we spoke about last week, being courageous, having the confidence, really diving in and witnessing and watching. And like today I was having a chuckle. I got nearly every green light while I was driving today. And I was like, and when I was walking, every time I got to a set of lights, the light just turned green. I was like, the universe is really looking out for me today. I'm like, and so noticing when you get a green light, noticing the small things and being really grateful for things that you currently have in your life. And the more grateful you have for the things that you currently have, more of the things that you want start to show up.
Can I just jump on that real quick and then I'll let Rob talk, I promise. When we always look at the what is today, looking at the bank account, looking at what is, that's actually preventing us from creating more money in our bank account. So I know it sounds crazy. You actually do, like Rob just said before, you have to have faith, you have to let go, and you have to get excited and create some good stuff in this world. If we're constantly looking at the bank account of what is today, you're actually preventing manifestation to occur in your life. So you have to not look at that bank account, just work, get the money generating activities happening in your world and focus there and focus in the future. People always tell me stop dreaming, and I'm like, you go live in reality, because I'm going to be in dream world, because that's where manifestation happens and that's where your ideal life does occur. And I am a living proof. I don't have to get into my personal stuff right here today, but the last 6 months has been life-changing for me. I have not looked at the bad things that have happened. I have literally looked at my future, and everything just is in flow. Like Alexis says, everything just comes to me, opportunities coming. And I'm not sitting here on my butt too. I am working and I'm excited for the projects ahead, but opportunities are coming and I'm diving in. And that's when you build your life. I have had so much momentum in the last 6 months. It's crazy. So
it's awesome to hear your journey there, Laura, as well. And I know you personally as well. So, I know that things have turned around for you. It's a really good thing. It's empowering for me as your friend to see that, because I'm on the sidelines going, yes, she can.
Yeah, you go, awesome.
Because you know how good it feels to actually be there. But let me ask you ladies some questions. Hands up if you've spent time working on something and never got anywhere.
Oh, like, yeah.
You were working in the wrong thing. Yeah, all the time, right? So that happens to people a lot, and that can cause all sorts of problems in your life. And one thing that I've noticed when I have these sorts of conversations, these podcasting type conversations, is when people talk about success, they inevitably tell you about the things that didn't go right for them in the lead up to their breakthrough and to whatever it was that helped them to be successful. And one of the things that I've noticed as a common theme, and I've done more than 800 podcasts, right, is that people that are not successful tend to build things because they want the money that they get from building those things. And it's not that you're not focused on the wrong thing or you're doing the wrong thing. You're doing it for the wrong reason. Mm-hmm. No person on planet Earth works for free. Every person on planet Earth works for something, whether that's for food, for water, to pay their bills, for money, for a holiday, for a car, for whatever. They're working for something. But if you're solely working towards something because you want to drive that nice Mercedes or that fast four-wheel drive that you had your eyes on, that Range Rover that you've been looking at for a while, then the chances of that being mega successful are almost none. And that's actually a common theme I've seen amongst all the conversations that I've had with really successful people. And I've spoken to everybody from world champions to Olympic champions to billionaires. And they all say the same thing in a roundabout way, is that you want to be building something because you want to be the best at building that something. So if you're building an e-commerce business, the result of that is revenue and cash flow and sales. But don't go into building an e-commerce business because you see some guy on Instagram telling you how he left his 9 to 5, and then all of a sudden, in 3 months, he's making 30 grand a month. He's making 30 grand a month, and he does do that because he's got his ad campaigns dialed in and he's got his products squared away. All of that is completely true and it's right. But if you go into it thinking that you're going to pocket 30 grand, you're completely wrong. He's probably operating on like a 10% margin. So he's gone from his 9 to 5 where he's getting 100 grand a year and he's making okay money to now he's making $3,000 a month. He's actually taken a step backwards in his life. So don't buy in to all of that thinking that you can be completely free and that money is going to save you. No, money's not going to save you. A relationship's not going to save you. A product or a service is not going to, that course is not going to save you. The only thing that's going to save you is you. And that's all about your mind. You don't need anything else. And when it comes to money mindset, I think people are looking for love in all the wrong places. I don't know. What do you think, Lexi?
I 100% agree that people, and so I love what you said, that if you're chasing the money, the money never comes, or if the money does come, it never stays, because you haven't created the foundations energetically, emotionally, and physically for yourself to be able to hold the money that comes in. And money is such a big thing. And, you know, at one point I thought if I had more money, I would be more loved. I'd be more lovable if I had more money in my bank account. At the end of the day, who knows how much money you have in your bank account? Like, no one knows unless you're sitting there flashing it around to everybody. For what purpose? I don't know. But nobody knows how much money you have in your bank account. Like, wouldn't you rather be happy, connected, and full of love? And when you're like that, you are, like I said before, a lot more magnetic to the things that you truly deeply want. And building something, like building a legacy or building something that's going to create change in the world, the byproduct of that is going to be bringing you more cash flow, because you're helping more people achieve what they want to be achieving.
You know,
and when you
can I just interject in that very important point? Because I think building something that's going to change the world applies to every person. You can have a job and do that. You can have a job that you absolutely hate and still do that, because it's just in your mind. If you went to work every day and decided that one day you're going to make peace with that job, and you're going to actually be the best version of yourself when you go there, and you're going to be the best employee, and you're going to deliver the best outcome, and you're going to do everything better, faster, and cheaper than everybody else out there, and you're going to win employee of the month and employee of the quarter, and you're going to try as hard as you humanly can, what do you think the upside of that is going to be? Money. And if it's not money, you're just going to feel better about yourself. And when you start to feel better about yourself, better things happen in your world. So to your point there, Lexi, you were saying, you know, focus on building something that's going to change the world. You don't have to build anything. You can do that in your own job, and you can focus on building your own self-esteem to be the best version of yourself. And that will change the world, because when you're the best version of yourself, all the potential that you have bubbles to the surface. And when you start to tap into that potential, amazing things happen.
So true.
Sorry, I interrupted you there. You were mid-flow. But I'm like, Laura, come at it.
It's infectious. Love it.
Sorry, go.
That's all about bringing value to the world, and it doesn't have to be any industry or business or non-business, whatever. It's just bringing value, because Bob Proctor says something very similar to that, Rob. He says, like, you know, the more value you bring to the world, the more money you're going to get back. It's an equal exchange. And there's this Japanese guy who I listened to like a couple months ago. I forget his name, and I'm sure
Ken Honda?
No, Japanese guy. Think of it.
Yeah, Ken Honda is Japanese. Does he talk about money?
Yes, happy mindset.
Happy money. Yes, Ken Honda.
Yes. Okay. So I listened to this interview one time. So that's how good it was. I remembered it. And he basically says, like what we were saying, money is energy. Money comes in, arigato, or whatever, the Japanese word. Thank you. And then money comes out, like pays a bill. Thank you. It's always an exchange of happiness. Thank you in, money come in. Thank you, money go out of the bank account. And I started adopting that. And I was like, whoa, this actually is a real thing, because who pays their bill, rent or a Wi-Fi bill or an energy bill, and goes, like I used to all the time, but I literally listened to that recording like maybe a month and a half ago or something like that. And it's changed so much for me, because now I have good energy around money coming in, money coming out, and it's creating flow. So, yeah.
That's beautifully said. You know, one of the things that I'll take that adage a little bit further when you say thank you to that. If you go away to your internet banking, whomever you use, and automate everything, all of a sudden the day-to-day activity of thinking about money goes away. You just don't think about it. I don't even know how much my bills are. I don't know, because 2 years ago, I went into the Commonwealth Bank and I set up all of the billing. The rent is taking, there's one thing I do have to go and fix. They put the rent up here, $50, and I have to fix that in a couple of weeks. So I'll go back in and do that. But my energy bill, my electricity bill gets paid every week. So it just, and then when I get a bill, I look at the account and I go, oh, look, it's $700 in credit, whatever, who cares? I've got enough money in the bank account. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So when I take my attention away from it, and I know when I go to the servo to buy fuel, I can just tap my card and I'm good because I know there's cash on the card there. Or if there's no money on that card for some reason, I just need to do an internal transfer from another account or whatever, it's there. I'm just not spending any time thinking about it. So the extension of thank you is taking that physical thought process away from you. So now I'm concentrating on what I'm doing during the day. There's a guy out there named Jocko Willink. I don't know if you ladies know him, maybe not. He's a pretty famous podcaster. He's an author and he's an ex-Navy SEAL, and he's known for being this like hard ass, right? And he's early on in his media career, if you like, when he first kind of came out and began podcasting and doing all this stuff, he had this thing that he shared with everybody called good. So lost your job, good. Got a new job, good. Got bills, good. Got everything, good. So your response to everything is good.
Good.
And the idea and the philosophy behind that is what it does is it just detaches you from the emotions to that thing. Lost your job, good. Get a new one, get a better one. Lost your girlfriend, good. Get a better one. She was crazy anyway. Not happy with the way your kids are behaving, good. That's an opportunity for you to fix your parenting and for them to learn some lessons. If you say good to everything, the same way as you say thank you, in and out for the cash flow there, that's something that's helped me a lot in my life as well, because often things arise and you get a little bit triggered. And if you're triggered by something, by that crazy person in the traffic cutting you off, or that bill or that argument or that relationship or whatever it is, if you just say good, or you say thank you is probably a better one, because thank you is you're giving positive energy to it, particularly if it's a negative thing. But that works. And
like it.
For somebody that's watching or listening to this that's having a bit of a hard time with money, or they've got a terrible money mindset around that, maybe you could say good, or maybe you could say thank you. I'm having a terrible time with money. Thank you. This is a lesson. The universe is showing me the contrast of what I don't want, because I can't discover what it is that I truly want until I experience wholeheartedly what I don't want. And being broke actually sucks. I never want to be broke again. Who's been broke before? Yeah, I've been broke before. We all have. We all know what that feels like. We've been broke and you're there and you're like, I'm going to never, ever going back here. Never, never. I'll make a vow to myself. Next day I'll go out and spend $1,000 on something I don't need. Idiot. What are you doing?
That's how you change your habit. So I love that, because whoever is listening, having issues with money, to create change in your life, it's just creating a new habit. And if you're thinking negatively about money, you're creating no more money, because you're thinking negatively and it's stopping the flow. So you just change the mindset around the negativity around money to a positive one, like you just said, good. You say good?
Yeah,
good. Just keep on doing that for a month and that will become a habit. And then you're changing your mindset around money. That's all it takes.
See, it's easy for us to sit here and say that, though. If you're having a shit time with money and you don't have any and you're broke and you're worried about how to pay your bills, I'm trying to be a little bit sensitive there, because I do have feelings, despite what some people say. Despite my missus, my nickname is Terminator. She's like, you're like a robot and you're big and you're in the way all the time. And it's like, I'm not. I am sensitive. I do have feelings. And I'm acutely aware that being broke sucks. And listening to a conversation like this might antagonize some people, but that's not our intention. Our intention is to give you some tools and share with you how we've navigated these challenges in our lives. And for me, it's actually pretty simple, is that if things are not going so well, you need to take some action. There's no money in your lounge room. There's no money in your bedroom. There's no money in your laptop. There could be, but if that's not how you make money, then it's not going to magically appear there. Money comes from other people. So you've got to get out there and either pick up another shift, go and get another job, figure out how to start a business, partner up with somebody, work it out. Put your phone down, get off social media, stop with all the distractions. You can do this. You have it within you to actually make it happen for yourself.
Yeah. And if you're in business and if somebody says no to you because you think that and there's so many different layers to this, because I was working with a girl and she said to me, can I just give a deposit, and when my credit card comes in, I'll pay the rest in full on the credit card. Once we got into the coaching, She actually had 2 years worth of savings in her bank account to continue living the lifestyle that she was currently living, but she was scared to use that money. And so when I was talking to a friend of mine who's just become a billionaire now, and he was saying like how he looks at money is like, when I breathe in, I breathe out. I always know that I'm going to be breathing in. I'm always going to be breathing out. I always know that money's coming in and money's going out. It's this revolving flow of, but there's no restriction of where it's coming from. It's just like, okay, I need $27 million for this project. He goes, I just put it out there and I just know that it's going to turn up on or right on smack bang on the day. And I was like, oh, and it's just a number. And it's interesting. I was doing a group call ages ago, and I said, write $100,000, just write 100,000, like the number 100,000. And I put it down. I said, how do you feel? Yeah. I said, put a dollar sign in front of it. And everyone was like, ooh. I was like, the little dollar sign changes the game for everybody. It was really interesting to watch everybody's faces completely shift and change just by putting a dollar sign in front of the $100,000, in front of the 100,000. I was like, oh. So then we had to dig deeper into it. And it's so interesting how everyone views money completely different. Like all three of us have very similar views, but also very different ways of looking at the same thing. And I love it, because when it comes to you, figure out what your new money story is. You've created a story that may serve you or may not serve you, but really look at what your money story is and how do you want to shift and change it? And what's the new money story that you want to be creating? And who are you with more money in your bank account? Because you've got to take that action. You don't win the lotto by sitting there going, oh, I'm going to win the lotto. You need to go and buy the lottery ticket. There's the actionable step that you need to take for you to be in the game. So we can talk about all the manifestation and all things, but you've got to take action, which we've been speaking about throughout this whole conversation. There's action that has to be taken. You can't just sit there and wait for things to show up.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to ask you ladies how I'll share how I do it, and then I'll ask you how you do it, and hopefully the viewers and listeners of this show will be thinking to themselves how they do it as well. So my question is, how do you insulate yourself from this crazy, uncertain world that we live in? Because I can turn on, I guarantee you that if I sat you in front of my phone or my computer and made you look at my YouTube, the videos that my algorithm shows me are going to be completely different to what you see. I always like looking at somebody's YouTube homepage to see what they're into. It's very telling about what somebody's really going on in their mind. If you look at mine, it's very doom and gloom. We're on the brink of nuclear war. The financial system's about to collapse. A boy doesn't know he's a boy or thinks he's a girl, or some crazy thing that's going on in this world, right? Because I watch a lot of news, and I'm a bit of a news junkie when it comes to those sorts of things. And that's because I like all the geopolitics of it. So, I thought for a little while before COVID, I had this thought, how do you insulate yourself from the craziness of the world and all of the madness that goes on out there? And the solution that I came up with was, if you look at crazy times, who profits? Big tech, big pharma, and big business is what profits. And when you look at COVID, what had happened here, who profited? Big tech, really, that's about it, and big pharma as well, right? So, and I'm not really talking about investing here either. What I'm talking about is, if you can figure out a way to create cash flow from those things, whether that's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever social media, if you can figure out how to build a business around those things, either monetizing those channels or using those channels to monetize your website to sell more products and services, you'll insulate yourself from the craziness of the world. But what you don't want to do, and the mistake that I see most people make, and I deal with entrepreneurs every day in the startup space, the mistake I see them make is that they only have one source of income. And if the world goes to hell in a handbasket and something goes wrong, there's a natural disaster, there's a bushfire, the internet turns off, the power goes off, something goes wrong, and that source of income goes away, you're stuffed. So how do you insulate yourself from that? My view is, in the modern world, we all have the opportunity to insulate ourselves from the outside forces of the economy by having some online incomes, plural, not one. If you got two, good. If you got three, even better. If you got four, good. You know how many people in Australia own an investment property? Not many. Something like 60%, don't quote me exactly, 60% of people own an investment property. But you know how many people own 2 investment properties? It's like 5 or 6%. How many own 3? Like 1% of Australians own 3 investment properties. So that says to me that those people that own 3 investment properties have probably got 4 income streams, their job and 3 properties. So forget about the real world for a second, because the online economy is completely insulated from the madness of the real world. And when the stock markets crash and when there's wars and there's all craziness that goes on, online economies are vastly and largely unaffected. So if you could figure out a way to create multiple streams of income from big tech, you will insulate yourself from the craziness of the world. And when you insulate yourself like that, you'll give yourself enormous security and comfort, knowing that whatever happens, if we go to war with China or we end up in World War III and there's a nuclear exchange in Russia, it won't matter, because I've got like 25 streams of income that all come from big tech. And if it does go to hell in a handbasket, YouTube's not going anywhere. Neither is Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok for that matter. Well, TikTok might go away if the CCP invade or something like that. But the point is, if you're insulated against those things, you'll be safe and you'll have that level of security and comfort for yourself. I'd love to know how you ladies think of that as well, and multiple streams of income.
Over to you, Laura.
Okay. Well, you kind of answered the things that I was going to say. So I'll just give you this tidbit. Everyone has a skill or a knowledge or a thing that they love and are interested in. Everyone. You can't tell me you don't. And if you think you don't, think a bit harder, because there's probably something that you really enjoy: magazines, surfing, beaches, coffee, whatever. And you can literally go online, as Rob was saying, and podcast it or YouTube it or create a Facebook community around it, a community, because remember that the power is a network. So if you can build a network, like I post something and boom, instantly I get views, because people are like, oh, what's Laura doing? Because I've built a trusted community, and it's just continuously building. But yeah, if you have multiple areas where you're delivering content, be a video creator. It won't give you money instantly, but over time, if you're consistent, it absolutely will build that residual income that Rob was talking about, and everyone can do it. It's just, you got to get yourself out of the way and all the negative talk and all that kind of stuff. And that's where Alexis comes in, right?
Absolutely.
Most definitely. This is like my favorite thing to do, and help people get out of their own way to create that. And, you know, like I go back and look at the very first video. Actually, I don't even know where it is now, but the very first video, it wasn't even going online. My friend at the time was like, let's just practice doing videos, because I know that this is where you want to go. So I had to get out of my own way and like practice and do the thing. And he just put the camera up. I hadn't even pressed play, and I bursted into tears. That, why are you crying? I'm like, I don't know. And there was all this like emotion that came up. And then, you know, with practice and over time, it's not even a challenge now. Put me in front of a camera and I can just talk. And
you're not focused on you now. You're focused on the content you're sharing. But you don't have to be on video either. You can literally do videos of like cartoons and stuff. You don't have to show your face. It's so easy. The stuff is unlimited that you can do online. It's awesome. I love it.
So unlimited that you can do online. And there's so many different platforms that you can go on to do the things. And, you know, it's just really what Laura said. Figure out what it is that you love, figure out what your passion is, or figure out what it is that you want to bring to the world and help somebody else with, and start helping that one person, and then building from there, and just continue gaining the momentum by being consistent every single day or every week, depending on how much time you have. If it's every Monday that's the only time that you get to do it every Monday and be consistent. Even if you don't feel like doing it, do it, because, you know, it's not about, oh, I need to get the motivation to do the thing. You need to do the thing to get the motivation.
I want to share something a little bit practical, because you ladies know I'm a practical kind of person, because I'm a man and men are practical. They use screwdrivers and spanners and hammers.
Won't go there.
Yeah. Those girls, I know, can't do that. You can just get a guy to do that. I asked my daughter the other day, you know, like, what are you going to do if you get a flat tire? And she goes, I'll just get my boboyfriend to change it. Well, what if you don't have a boyfriend? She goes, I'll just call you. I was like, all right, fair enough. At least she was honest. So to be the practical person here, what I would say is this. I want to share a little kind of, I guess, a client story. So this woman, she was a coach, and she needed to, she was pulling about $10,000 per month. Her monthly fee was $2,000. And for some reason, it just went poof and went away. She didn't know what happened to her business. She didn't know why it was not working. But the point is, it just went away. And she didn't have very long to recover it, or she would have had to go and get a job. She didn't have much savings or anything like that. So what she did, she started a YouTube channel. And within a couple of weeks, I think it was about 6 weeks, she had about 500 subscribers. She had a pretty decent LinkedIn following, and she was manually going to people going, "Oi, can you come and subscribe? Come," like this. And over a short period of time, it was about 2 months. So she had 500 subscribers. She only needed 5 people to sign up per month at $2,000 each, and she goes straight back to her 10 grand. And that's what she did. So you don't need a giant audience of 400,000 people on your TikTok to actually go and make money. What you need is you need to figure out how to break down that amount of money and what you need to do to get there. It doesn't take much to do that. And I think people don't realize how close they are to being majorly successful. There's that old image before memes came a thing. There's a little guy, he's kind of digging in the tunnel one way and he's about to strike gold and hit the diamonds, right? And there's another guy that's at the same area and he's turned around and given up. You're like just one smack with the pick, into the wall, and you're about to get everything that you ever wanted. You're so close to it. And it doesn't matter where you're starting from right now, you're right there. So the practical side of me says that the thing that's worked incredibly well for me and my clients over the last year or so, maybe probably 18 months or so, just if you're kind of in the tail end of COVID as well, and now, is a thing that I start off with by saying it's content, commerce, community, and courses. So anybody, doesn't matter where you are in your life, can do those things. You can create content. To your point, Laura, if you're into, if you love cafes and you love the cafe lifestyle, there's about 500,000 cafes in Sydney that you could do reviews of. You could go there, physically do that, pull your phone out, do a review, create a whole channel related to those things. If you were a cafe owner in Sydney, I'd encourage you to do the top 10 cafes of Sydney, and your cafe is number 1. That's one way of actually doing that. You could do that 20 different ways and create a whole lot of traffic for your website and for bookings for your booking systems. The point is, anybody can create content. And from content, you need a way to monetize that content. And 9 out of 10 people that create content, whether that's on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube or some other place, get people off their platforms, into some other website, some other program. And usually the best place to get them is to a community. And now, if I said to you, you could join my community for 50 cents a day, would you join? Yeah. How many people could I get there? It's $15 a month. For 50 cents a day, will you join? Well, what am I getting for 50 cents a day? Well, I'm going to give you $50 worth of value. How about that? Would you join? Well, yeah, if you give me $50 worth of value for 50 cents, I'm in. Of course I'm in. So you can create that big delta between what they pay and what they actually get, which will be significantly more the lower the price actually is. So if I suddenly go away and get 300 people into my community, all of a sudden I'm generating a couple of $1,000s per month. And if I'm the barista expert and the barista critiquer, when I go around Sydney and do all of these things, I might get everybody else in Sydney that thinks that they're a coffee expert into my community as well. And we can have some fun with that. We could play with that. There's 1,000 different things that you could do with that. The point is, if you create content, you need a way to monetize that content. And the best way to do that is with community. And once you have people inside of your community, that gives you now a new opportunity to on-sell courses. And when you've got courses and you've got products and services there, that's an additional stream of income that you don't currently have. So if you have 500 people that live inside your community and you roll out a new course, before you roll out the course, you might test it on that community. Hey, I'm thinking about rolling out a course about A, B, or C. Which one do you think would be best? Everybody votes. You decide C. You create the first module of C. Hey, if I give you the first module of C, what do you think about this? Give me some feedback. They give you the first you give them the first module. 400 people give you feedback. Now I go and create the course because I already know and I've pre-sold 400 versions of this thing at $500 each, and I'm cashing in. So very simple ways that anybody can leverage big tech, and they can leverage their own IP. You don't need to be a coach. You don't need to have any exceptional skills. What you need to do is to get out of your own way, You need to get somebody like Lexi to help you clear that negative energy out of your head. And then you need to talk to someone like me and Laura that's going to go, come on, go. And we're going to cheer you on from the sideline.
Cheer you on. I love it. Love it. It's so funny. I'm laughing, Rob, because I'm actually doing that right now.
That exact thing. There you go. Yeah. And you know how easy it is, right? It's simple.
Good.
It's
easy. There's websites already built for you.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything. There's like, so I leverage a site called Mighty Networks. So for people out there, there's another one called circle.so. Circle's pretty good too, but Mighty Networks is got a little more features. And there's probably 5 or 6 different versions that you could plug into your WordPress website. But if you want a standalone version that has all of the bells and whistles that you could ever possibly hope for, Mighty Networks is it. So mightynetworks.com, go check it out. And if you're struggling for some cash flow, you're not sure what you need to do with your life, go over there. That will inspire you. That will give you something to look at for a couple of hours, maybe even a few days. And you can take the first step and go and create a community.
I love it. I'm using thinkific.com because
that's awesome.
Has a community in there as well. So I was like, sold.
All for your content. So great for like a learning management system or an LMS, and then has the community associated with it as well. So Mighty Networks has that as well, but it's got a whole bunch of other features. Lets you go live in there. It has the feed and all sorts of other features in that as well. But not everybody needs those things. And sometimes you just need it like a simple solution.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
Great chat. Love it.
I love it. There's so much deliciousness and goodness in here. And if you've just taken one thing, run with that one thing and really expand on it, and really just decide that you want your life to be different and go out and go after it.
Beautifully said.
Love it.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.